Sorry, let's try that again. For some reason, that the mic wasn't working. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And this is the Meltdown Show. Because, yeah, I'm already seeing on Twitter. I don't know what people are saying in the comments, but as usual, we spent the entire week, as I was saying earlier before I decided to unmute myself. We've been happy to play. We've been happy the entire week about giving players a chance and seeing a new look team, and then we lose, and then it's the coach need to be sacked. These players aren't good enough. Joke, etc., etc. And my biggest thing is always like, if you're gonna sit there saying you like the selection, you can't complain about the result. And we're gonna look at some of the players, and I don't think we played well today at all. And I think that we just probably deserve to lose. And I think that sometimes a loss is exactly what you need. Sometimes you need a little bit of a kick up the arse. And I was hoping that we were going to see it last week, except that it was a different team. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to sort of see what everybody says on our player ratings. I think, worry was probably to a certain degree that there was a lot of our senior players I thought were pretty poor today. And I think that that's becoming a bit of an issue. I think that in many ways a lot of the new guys actually looked a lot better than some of the old guard. So that is a little bit concerning in terms of where we are. It's one thing. It's quite easy if your experienced players play well, the new guys take a little longer. It's very easy to say, well, they'll get there. But when your experienced guys are not playing well, you then have to start asking a few questions. So yeah, we're gonna have to break it down. I'm gonna be talking about that the entire week. But let's look on the bright side. We've got a phenomenal decider set up in Cape Town next weekend. Ireland versus New Zealand still up for grabs. Australia versus England is still up for grabs, and now South Africa versus Wales still up for grabs. So it's gonna be an exciting test match. And losing sucks. It really, really does suck. Nobody likes to lose. I hate losing, and we all hate losing. But you have to lose sometime at the end of the day. And if this loss can, show us a few things and get us into a better position, then hopefully that's the case. And I think that's what the selection was all about. It's about seeing who's ready. It's about seeing where the squad is, and sometimes you just have to put your hands up and say that the Wales deserved it today. And I do think they deserved it. I thought they had a very harsh decision against Adam and Jones. So I thought it's probably just as well we didn't actually really score any points during that time. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what the player ratings are going to be. And I think people are going to be very, very harsh. But my biggest thing is just there's no point in panicking at this stage. We are sitting in the second test of the entire year. So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Losses do happen. We have lost. Let's just calm it down. Let's rate these players. Let's go have some beers, and then we'll start on Monday, and we'll get going again, shall we? But just before we start going, I need some nominations for a Springbok Man of the Match. So let's limit it to 3 people, maybe. We'll say 3 people for Man of the Match. Give me nominations here, people. I would probably put up. I'll put Jaden Hendrickson up there in the Man of the Match running. I thought Jaden Hendrickson looked very, very good today. Kurtley Orenser, I think, I'm damn seeing some people saying Kurtley there. I think that he played really well. So I'm seeing a couple of Hendrickson ones there as well. So at the moment, Springbok Man of the Match. Kurtley Orenser, Jaden Hendrickson. I think we'll probably just stick to those 2, to be honest. Yeah, let's stick to those 2. I think those 2 are the only ones, like, real standouts. So yeah, so we've got a poll running in the comments there. So pick your Springbok Man of the Match between Kurtley Orenser and Jaden Hendrickson. and we'll revisit that at the end. But until then, we're going to start with the player ratings. We're going to start with Thomas du Toit, who, yeah, was all right today. Was playing at Lucid, where he hasn't played a lot of rugby in. So let's see how his game reads and numbers. Now, first half scrums we didn't dominate any scrums, but Thomas du Toit made 2 carries, he made 4 tackles, he won 1 turnover. I don't think he was bad. I don't think he was great. So I'm probably sitting on sitting on a 6 for Thomas. I don't think he was. Yeah, I don't think he was bad, but yeah, it was just average. And there we go. 6. So yeah, I agree with that. I think we're off to a good start here, people. I'm glad we're on the same page here. Joseph Dweber, I thought had a pretty up and down game. I thought he had a very nice break. I thought he looked pretty physical in the loose. He had one poor line out, and he conceded a penalty. But he's an exciting player, Joseph Dweber. I think that he's got a lot of potential. I really think that playing in South Africa next year is going to do his confidence a world of good. So. Yeah, again, I'd probably go with a 6. I don't think he was terrible. So I'm going to go with a 6. Let's see what other people are going with. Prices 6.2. Okay, some people have gone a bit higher for Joseph Dweber, which is interesting. Yeah, not his best game, but as I said, I don't think he was bad. And I think probably much the same with Trieza, where he wasn't fantastic, wasn't terrible. I think that was probably the argument for a lot of the players today. They were just very average. There's just no one really who stood up. Penza said we shouldn't be losing to Wales. It was a boring game. Fred said I still think Grant Williams at 9 would cause more problems for Wales than Hendricks. Yeah, well, we couldn't do it unfortunately because of injuries. But I personally was very impressed with Hendricks. How can Dweber at this level still struggle with lineouts? Look, Malcolm Mark struggled with lineouts in the 2019 World Cup. So, yeah, I think a lot of it comes with playing. The more you play with these guys, the more your lineouts get better. It's not usually, it's not like it's a technical flaw in his lineouts. A lot of it's just a not knowing your jumpers and stuff like that. And again, that'll come with time. Country saying 6.5 for Dweber. James, have to remember the game Marks had for us when he couldn't throw the line out straight in England, so I wouldn't crucify Dweber for one bad throw, 100%. I'm seeing a 7 for Trevor. I'm seeing a 5 for Trevor. Kudos to the Bokke fans who give Wales credit for the win. You have to give credit for the win; they deserved it. Yeah, I think Trevor's probably a 6 as well. And again, not bad, not good, just a little bit nebulous to be honest. 6.5. Yeah, as I said, he won a scrum penalty. To be fair to him, he did win a scrum penalty. He had 3 carries, didn't miss a tackle, didn't have much to do. We didn't actually have that many scrums. It's a bit like last week. We didn't in the first half. I feel like we had more in the second half. I'm not sure if that's right or not. That could be wrong for all I know. I thought Eben Etzebeth had a very frustrating game today because he was causing a lot of grief at the Welsh lineout. But his discipline was a bit disappointing today. You know, I think if we go and check, I'm pretty sure he conceded quite a few penalties. So, you know, you don't want to be overcritical, but I mean, he conceded back-to-back penalties, which gave them a penalty, which got them back into the game. I get frustrated with him because he's such a class player, but it's just a couple of there were silly penalties as well, like the one where he came through and just grabbed the ball at the back of the line. That's just stupid. We need better from him. You know, he's a leader within the side. But yeah, he made 3 carries. Defensively, he made apparently 2 tackles going to rugby pass. Discipline, you can see the 2 penalties, the joint most in the Springboks side. So yeah, I'd probably give Evan a 6 as well. I feel like most people are going to get 6s. So Fred says Springboks versus Wales never been my favourite games to watch. While they're two of the same teams, both very defensively orientated and very good defenders. So I mean, it's not going to suddenly make for champagne rugby. Ultimate Sharp says, am I the only one who's mad at Pollard for taking threes when we should have gone for tries? I wouldn't necessarily say so. I think it's test match level, so you do go for the 3 points. Penalizer says, not a bad performance for a new team at international level. A loss can fix more problems than a win, 100%. Blind Paper Express says 100% tackling but dumb mistakes, 5.5. If you build depth by filtering players, slowly get wins and build confidence. Urban 5 became Jasper Visa overnight. The last penalty was minus and not good enough. He had a good game until the last 10 minutes. Where can we vote? It's the pinned comment. So it says rate the players there on the website. Yeah, maybe he is a 5. Yeah, again, I'm just frustrated with those penalties at the end because he's got to do better. He's got a player of his experience. He's got to do better than I think. So for that, I'm actually going to give him a 5. I'll be interested to see what people have given him. But actually, no, I'm going to give him a 6 because his line of work was good. I think 6.8 is generous. He was fine in the loose, but those last 10 minutes, it was just silly. Marvin Ory didn't really do much to endear himself, let's be honest. But Marvin Ory is the definition of an average player. Nothing special. He's a good line operator. He makes his tackles when he has to make his tackles. He's never going to be a great ball carrier. He's not a massive physical specimen. He made 7 tackles. He didn't miss a single one, according to Rugby Pass. So, that's pretty solid. But he's just a bit nebulous, isn't he? At the end of the day. So it's just the problem is, if he wasn't playing, you wouldn't know it. So he's not a bad player, but we get so used to really good locks that I'll probably give him a 5. 5.2, yeah, it's about right. As I said, he wasn't bad. He didn't make mistakes, and his discipline was alright. He just wasn't great. Marcel Coetzee I thought was fairly solid. It wasn't quite the Marcel Coetzee we were hoping to see, but I think that was the big thing about Wales. I think they really did front tough physically, and we didn't manage to impose ourselves. He made 4 carries, he made 3 tackles, he made 5 meters. Yeah, I don't think Marcel Coetzee had the best of returns. So I'm leaning around a 6. I just think he was a bit nebulous again. He wasn't posing himself in the game, and I think I know that he's coming back into the fray, but he's an experienced player, and I think that we needed to see more from him from a leadership point of view as well. So I'm going to give him a 6. 5.5. That's interesting. Yeah, it wasn't his best outing. It wasn't the Marcel Coetzee of a couple of years ago for the Boks. But as Oliver Kirsten says, I think we are going to see a lot of 6s today because I think a lot of people were pretty bang average. I was incredibly disappointed with Peter Steph Toy today. I don't think we've seen such a poor performance from Peter Steph Toy in a long time. He conceded the most penalties. He missed tackles. He was just poor. He was really poor today. 7 tackles, 2 missed. I think he actually missed more than 2, 4 carries. As I said, according to Rugby Pass, he conceded 2 penalties. I thought he was very, very poor. So I'm going to give him a 5. The problem is, again, you kind of have to play him because you need to get him back into his form. But it's hard when you look at how good Quacker Smith was last week to sit there going, and if it wasn't for needing a line option, I think that he would struggle to get into this. I mean, for example, people were slamming Franco Mostert last weekend. I think Franco Mostert last weekend was better than Peter Steph Toy this weekend. So, who do you put in number 7 next week? You probably play Peter Steph Toy in the hope that he gets better, but didn't have a good game at all. So I'm going to give him a 5. 6.7. Your people are on cheap drugs. Cheap drugs. And I think everybody here I'm saying, so I'm Herman saying Peter Steph Toy 5. So I'm seeing a 5.5, 4.5 here. I mean, yeah, I mean, and I said, he's allowed to have a bad game, so I mean, nobody's hating on him for doing it. But if we're projecting on today's performance, 6.7 is ludicrous. Um, yeah, I think that's really, really generous. Evan Lewis, I thought was all right. Again, it's a very different game plan he has to try and fit into, and I did say so. We weren't going to see the Evan Lewis from the URC. He did make 8 carries. He did make 21 meters. He made 3 tackles. Defensively, he didn't miss a tackle. Yeah, I think that I think probably a 6 for Lewis. I don't think he was bad, um, but I don't think he was terrific. Again, he was going to be a very different player to what we sort of used to see because he gets a lot more freedom at 8. So I'm going to give him a 6. I'll tell you what though, I definitely think that Jasper Wiese is feeling pretty comfortable. Yeah, 6 is right because Jasper Wiese is coming from man of the match performance, and I don't think Evan Lewis today made him nervous. I don't think he didn't exactly go out there and suddenly say Jasper Wiese that number 8 is my jersey. Like, watch yourself. So I think but it's his first game, so he's not expected to do it. But I think people just need to calm it down a little bit with Lewis, and he needs time to develop. He's not going to be phenomenal off the bat. He's going to take some time to grow into a Springbok jersey. So he'll get another opportunity, I'm sure. But yeah, wasn't the worst that we had seen during the URC, which is fine. He'll have plenty of time. He'll get a lot better, and I'm sure he will get a lot good. But I will put Jasper Wiese back into the side next week. I was very impressed with Jaden Hendrickson, and I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter who are impressed with him as well. So it's not just me. I'm not just crazy. I thought that he looked very comfortable. I thought his kicking game was pretty good. I thought defensively he was very good. He made a lot of tackles, by the way. So he made 6 tackles, 1 turnover as well, a very important turnover, turnover there. Didn't miss a tackle, 13 kicks from hand. I thought they were all very good. I was very impressed with Hendrickson. I thought that he was a different level to everybody else, and I think that he could very, very much put a lot of pressure on Herschel for that bench position. I think, and funny enough, he hadn't played a particularly good URC season, so it was always going to be interesting to see what he was going to do coming off the back of an average season. And I feel sorry for Grant Williams because he couldn't come on at scrum half because of the injury, so we didn't get to see what Grant Williams can do at scrum half. But yeah, I thought I'm leaning towards a 7 or an 8 for Jaden. I'm not sure if anybody really deserves an 8. We haven't given a 7 yet, so I'm probably going to give him a 7. Yeah, and that's fine. I think that's the highest rating so far. You guys are actually pretty on point today. We're on the same wavelength here. This is bullshit, because I don't think PSF Toy was our second best player, or apparently even Edsmith was. But yeah, this is pretty on point. Lekker. A couple of comments saying the water breaks dictates that you should keep the ball in hand and 3 points aren't enough anymore. PNR has to do what Fatal Billy had to have done, remake and work at timing and uses the team seriously suffers with no Khaleesi or Dwayne. Looked like a bunch of lost kids in need of guidance at times. Should have put Williams on with 20 minutes to go, and at 9 he's always made a difference when coming on for the Sharks. I think they wanted to put him at 9, but yeah, the issue with the 6-2 split, isn't it? Pollard, he's just not quite the general at the moment, is he? He missed 2 tackles. So he made 6 tackles, missed 2. He slotted 4 penalty goals. His goal kick success rate was 67%. His tackle success rate was 75%. There were 4 kicks from hand. I'm leaning towards a 5. Maybe, yeah. He's just not playing particularly well. If he is injured, then suddenly it means that Alter Donkeys is back in the fray. But yeah, I don't know if it was cramp at the end or if he did tweak something a little bit. But I'm seeing a couple of 5s. I'm seeing a 6. I'm seeing a 4. Pollard did well. No, I don't think Pollard did well at all. And also, this don't compare him to something like. Don't say, well, he did better than Alton last week, therefore he needs a 6 or a 7, because I think we gave Alton a 2 last week. But yeah, I'm going to give him a 5. I thought he was pretty poor today. On captain as well. Yeah, see, you guys agree. And again, a lot of people say, and I kind of agree, that today's team was far more suited to Alton Yankees than to Pollard. So I think that was probably quite frustrating. That Pollard would have done a lot better, I think, last week with Delindy and that sort of pack. Whereas today, when the game did get a bit more open, I think it would have suited Alton Yankees a lot more, and they seem to be a bit more licensed to run the ball. So it's a bit weird to tell your attacking fly half to kick the ball and then tell your more defensive, more traditional Springbok fly half and Andre Pollard, you guys can run the ball a bit more. A bit frustrating, that, isn't it? Fussy. Yeah, unfortunately, today, I just don't think he's ready. I genuinely don't think he's ready. I think he's a very talented player who's got spans of potential. I don't think he's ready for international level at the moment. I genuinely don't. I think that he looked very, very average out there. He missed a couple of tackles. I think he took one ball up the air, so yeah, he missed one tackle. He only made one tackle, missed 2. His defense was 33%. This is why he can't play fullback. Again, 21 meters. Yeah, I'm probably leaning towards a 5. Just not. As I said, I just don't think he's ready for international rugby yet. 6.4, I think, is incredibly generous. Yeah, and say he's playing out of position, no, that's a bad excuse, because if he's struggling defensively on the wing, imagine if he plays at fullback. 33% tackle success rate at fullback means they're scoring tries for fun. So he can't play fullback until he can play on the wing and defend. That's the reality. You can't put him at fullback if he can't tackle, and his defense is a massive question mark at the moment. So yeah, I just don't think he's ready for international rugby yet. I mean, you look at how Curtly Orense looked like he had played at this level for a while. He looked very at home out there. Fussy didn't. He really didn't, unfortunately. Andre Esterhuizen, I thought, he tried very hard. He had a couple of really poor moments, like that knock-on, for example. He didn't miss deep, but defensively, I thought Esterhuizen was very impressive. I think he made about 10 tackles. I don't think he missed a tackle. So I think defensively, he was pretty rock solid. On the attack, he got over the gain line a couple of times. I certainly don't think that he dislodged Damien Delendy, for example. So, yeah, where are we sitting with Andre Esterhuizen? I'll probably maybe a 7, actually. I think defensively, for that defensive effort, I think he was fairly solid enough. Having said that, he did make a couple of mistakes. Yeah, let's go with another 6 for him, I reckon. 5 is very harsh, I think. To say that Fussy's a 6.4 and Esterhuizen's a 5, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Yeah, I think that's very harsh. Creel had no ball to work with, did he? How often was he skipped out, to be fair to the poor lad? But defensively was pretty rock solid. Made some big tackles, actually. I would go with a 6 for Creel, actually. I think he was alright. I think he didn't get a lot of opportunity to carry the ball. But defensively, he didn't take a step back, and he's up against a very large centre in George North. So Oliver says this backline really needed Delendy and both Esterhuizen and Creel are too direct. Just lacks distribution of forgot his Creel's on the field, 5 poor from your senior player. Why risk the series and record? Tell you guys the Boks going to lose the series. Creel 6 is Albert. Creel's overrated, always has been. Kirtley is faster than Colby. Creel was okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with 6 for Creel. I don't think he had a bad game. 5.8 I think is alright. Kirtley, I'm seeing it probably a 7 or 8 for Kirtley. I thought Kirtley, did he make a mistake? Really? He looked for work. He was very bright. He made 6 tackles. He didn't miss a tackle. He made 52 meters. He beat a defender. I think he was our best player of the park today. And that's the funny thing is because, some people are saying, oh, well, you didn't get an opportunity, you just played out position, stuff like that. Curtly Answer's a full back, he played on the wing and looked how good he looked. Curtly Answer was on debut, look how good he looked. So some excuses which justify other things didn't apply to other players. So I was very impressed with Curtly. I'm going to give him an 8 actually. On debut in a team that wasn't really functioning, 8.5. Yeah, 8.5 is probably a bit high, but I don't think he could have done much. I mean, if he almost thought we were going to score a try, looked very promising on attack. Looked at home. I think that's always for me the biggest compliment you can give to a player after a Springbok debut or whatever. When you look at home, when you look comfortable at that level. That's why I was impressed with Hendrika, because he looked comfortable at that level. So Curdy's getting an 8. I thought Warwick Haland tried a lot. Sometimes he forced the issue a little bit, but you do need to understand that's what you'll get with Haland. If you're asking for those miracle passes, they won't always come off. Again, quite difficult for players to, a bit like a real situation where it's a very different system. He had some very nice touches, he had some very poor touches, but I mean the good's always become bad, I think. So I'll probably give him a 6. I think he had some good moments, but he also had some poor moments. So people are dumb, eh? A 4. A 4 for Haland. These are the same people, by the way, that all wanted Billy LaRue out, by the way. I'm probably singing for them to come back. No, I don't agree with that at all. As I said, I don't think he was phenomenal. He had some good moves, he had some bad moves. He definitely wasn't a 4. I mean, Pete Steph was probably the worst player on the park today, and he got a 6.8. 6.7. So a 4, I think, is incredibly harsh for Haland. Yeah, I mean, he tried a couple of things. He almost created a bit. He had some nice touches. As I said, there was a lot of good. There's a lot of bad. It always comes with him. Malcolm Marx had a very nice turnover. His line-up work was pretty solid. Had a couple of good carries. 2 carries, didn't have much to do. Malcolm was probably going to get a 6, to be honest. I'm trying to look how many turnovers he had. 3 carries apparently on defense. According to Rugby Pass, he made. I don't think he made a tackle. Set play, didn't concede a penalty. Yeah, I'll just give him a 6. I don't think he got a lot of opportunity to make a difference. When he did, he took it. But 7, yeah, I said when he did have to do something, he did it pretty well. Mchunu, what do you reckon? Leaning towards 6. He had a reasonable scrum. He also conceded a penalty. We saw nothing in the loose. I'll just give him a 6. I think it's easy. 5.5. Yeah, that's alright. I mean, if you look at his game, there's nothing really to read into it. 2 tackles, 1 missed tackle, 1 scrum penalty, 1 scrimmelty. Yeah, just didn't do much. Vincent Koch. I was a bit disappointed with Koch actually. I'm not quite sure how Tuco cost us the game. How? How did he cost us the game? It's not like he missed the tackle when they scored a try. Vincent Koch was, yeah, also pretty average. I mean, he knocked that ball in the last moment, which was really frustrating. He made 5 tackles, didn't miss one, 3 carries, 1 turnover, 1 turnover conceded. I'll probably also give him a 6. I don't think it was that. 6.3, that's fine. Ruan Olkier was on for about, what, 15 minutes? I don't even remember seeing him, so he gets a 6 as well. 4.7. I mean, the guy didn't even get anything to do. Oaks got cooked, eh? I'm tired, and people are being dumb. I mean, the Oak came on. He played 21 minutes. He made 5 tackles. He didn't miss a single tackle. He made 1 carry, and he's Oaks gave him a 4.7. Texas, he gave the scrum penalty. Wales scored a try after that. Yeah, Wales scored a try after Oaks collapsed them all and then beat us around the outside. So how far back do you want to go? Because Evan Etzebeth conceded a penalty, which they then got 3 points on, which they got them back into the game, which then allowed them to score the try and win the match. So, yeah, I think when you start saying stuff like that, that's just pointless. You know, that's like saying PSF the Toy cost us the game because he conceded a penalty in the first 30 seconds and they were 3-0 and were chasing the game after that. I think that's very, very pointless to sort of start. Ronald Alstat was actually pretty solid, if we're being brutally honest. He's a very, but you're never going to see Alstat doing a lot. He's not a big ball carrier. He's a grafter. So he made 6 tackles in half an hour, which is one of the most of anybody in the two teams. Yeah, he's all right actually. He's reasonably physical. I'd say he didn't have a lot to do. Did Ronald Alstat, but what he had to do, he was fine. So I'll give him a 6. Just didn't look out of place at all. So Albert says Alstat 6.5. Dinclair says Alstat made a big hit and kept to his basics well after. I'll give it a 6. Yeah, I think a 6 is about right. I think that's just stupid. People are stupid. It's actually making me emotional how stupid people are being. Dion Faree looked pretty bright when he came on. Had a couple of carries, didn't really get around the ball. Made 4 carries, 2 tackles, missed a tackle. Again, I'd say pretty 6. I'll be interested to see what he gets here though. She's like it. Oaks are not happy. I mean, what did he do for 3.5? Remember that we scored more points in the second half, eh? Like, when these guys came on, we did score points as well. We conceded points, we also did score points. It was only 3-3 at halftime with the thing. I mean, these are ridiculous ratings. He was better than Ori, for example. He was probably better than Peter Steph the Toy. Even Marcel. He was probably better than Marcel, potentially. And they've all gotten, like, half the ratings. Yeah, no, Oaks are cooking here. Grant Williams, 8 minutes, can't rate him, gets a 6. I mean, what's the point of... I mean, imagine giving a guy a 3 when he didn't even touch the ball. Touched the ball once. And Oaks going to go give him like a 2 or a 3. People are dumb. I think people are dumb. Damian Williams, did I click 6 or 3 there? I'll give him a 6. Didn't have much to do. So difficult to rate him. Yeah. Well, I think the bench was pretty poor. I thought I was actually very excited. I thought that we were. Apart from that, I think that's a pretty poor rating, and I think that's very generous. But I thought generally we were pretty bang on with where our ratings were. Average, above average, below average, below average. He should have been below average, above average, below average. Yeah, I think he should have been below average. I think he should have been above average. That's fine. That's about right. That's a bit harsh. That's fine. That's fine. Alright. Harsh. Ludicrous. Stupidly ludicrous. Pointless. Probably not. I mean, well, that's pointless in terms of there's not much we could have rated him on. But, well, people, that's it, you know, and we will chat more about this in the coming days. But we lost. Get over it. Happens. That's what we need to realise. But the Forever Sports Man of the Match on debut is none other than Curtly Orenser, who gets 62% of the votes. Yes, I very much realise that YouTube's maths don't add up because it always adds up to 99%. So who knows what happens there. But yeah, good answer. Very impressive on debut. I thought Jaden Henderson was very good, but we lost. And we made 19 changes. We lost by a point. So some people will look at that as a positive. Some people will look at that as a very much a negative. I think we learned a lot about a lot of players today. And I think for me, the senior players need to start stepping up. And when I say senior players, I'm talking needs to step up. I'm talking needs to step up. I'm talking needs to be more disciplined. You know, needs to step up. Not that it was bad today, but I want to see the Trevor of last year, who was just wrecking everything in his wake. I think what we saw is that potential. Point, not much value. Probably need to step up a bit. Solid, not ready. All right, nice, average. He's fine. Need to see more of him, and we'll see more of these guys. So I think that, as I said, we learned a lot about today. And it's funny because we were lauding the coaching staff the entire week about the fact that they have tried things, that they are doing stuff. We did try run the ball more in the first half with ball in hand, and now we're all losing our minds. So I think the best thing, as I always say, is to just calm down, take a breather. Let's go away. Let's think about this. We'll come back on Monday with our live show. The team will be announced on Tuesday, and then we can get ourselves aside for what will be a series decider in Cape Town next weekend. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe because we are 329 people away from 14,000 subscribers. How flippin' amazing is that? All thanks to you people. People, thank you very much. It's been a very long day. We've been live since 9 o'clock this morning. And it's almost 8 o'clock, so we've been 11 hours on the trot. The channel has been live. It's been fantastic watching with you guys, and we will see you guys all very soon. Please do keep